Well, hello everyone. It's Carmine from New York. It is July 28th, 2022, and I am very excited about today's episode. First, I want to read you a quote. It's one sentence, don't worry. This is a quote from Rebecca West. She was born in 1892. And she left us in 1983. She was a British journalist, an author, a literary critic, and a travel writer. She was wonderful. You have to read some of her work. Anyway, what is a quote that I have on my desk all the time? It goes like this. Any authentic work of art must start with an argument between the artist and their audience. That is awesome. An authentic work of art must start an argument between the artist and their audience. I love it because no photographer with his or her work fits in a square. And a square peg goes in that hole for every single photographer ever on earth. There are as many different types of photographers and their vision and their art as there are different snowflakes. Every one is different. Ansel Adams' photographs are completely different than photojournalist in New York City back in the 50s, Ouija. Look up his work, Ouija. Okay, so, by the way, Ouija was a crime scene photographer for all the newspapers back in the 50s. Look up his work. Wow. Talk about how different his work is than Ansel Adams. So anyway, I wanted to get this quote out of the way because it will blend into the photographs you'll see in just a second. Why is today's class so different and important? Well, because it involves a little bit of my personal life. When I graduated the School of Modern Photography, it was a correspondence school back in the 70s. Similar to what you guys have now, which is online school, right? You can go to college online from your home, from your computer. Well, back in the 70s, there was correspondence photography school where you would get work every week in the mail, and you would do the assignment. You'd photograph different things. You'd make your enlargements, and you would send the enlargements and the negatives off to your professor in New Jersey. And a week later, you would get it back with all the notes, let's just say, and the assignment for the next week. And this went on until you graduated. It took a couple of years. So I did graduate. And part of the graduation back in the 70s was you got a big envelope with everybody else that graduated. Since everybody doesn't start at the same time, it's not like school where it starts in August or September. Everybody starts at different times. So you would get a list of people that graduated that year. The year that you graduated. Anyway, so there were 3 or 4 photographers on that list that lived like in Connecticut, Jersey, and Pennsylvania. That's kind of like near me. And we kind of stayed in touch over the last 50 years, 60 years. And one day last week, I got an email from one of these fellows that I graduated with. He's now a retired photographer. And he wanted to know if I would be interested, along with 2 other guys that I graduated the School of Modern Photography with. And this is the proposal. He wanted to know if I would be interested in producing my own video entitled My Hometown, Where a Young Photographer Grows Up, and How Interesting It Really Was. So I said, yeah, sure, I'll do it. So this morning, July 28th, 2022. I went very simple equipment-wise, right? I grabbed the Olympus EPL 6, the Olympus 9mm manual focus lens. The focusing is done down here, okay, and the VF2, the digital electronic viewfinder that slips into the back. So this is it. This was the whole thing. This was all the gear I took today to go photograph the highlights of my hometown. Now, I knew that everybody else that was going to do this video, I don't know what the end result's going to be. He just wanted me to do it and send it to him, which I did already, and you're about to see it. I don't know what he's going to do. He might put something together showing 3 or 4 photographers now that we're senior citizens, and put something together either for a school, to show it at a school, or to show it online. Or maybe we'll have a round table and show all the videos. You know, maybe PBS will be interested in it. I don't know. Anyway, that's down the road. So today, right now, I'm going to show you the video that I put together. It's my hometown, where I grew up in New York, and I wanted to show it in the best possible light and giving it my photography twist. Now, as you know, all photographers are artists, right? And if you go to the Louvre in France, the art museum, you'll see different styles of painting from different artists, right? You have realism, and then you have modern art, and you have look at a painting which it's just all white. Maybe it has one black line down the middle and it's worth millions of dollars, right? And then you have the Mona Lisa, right? So that's art. We're photographers. We do photography art. So having said that, let me show you now the video. It's not long, it's just a few minutes long. And I will show you the photographs that I submitted to my friend. He's going to put something together about hometowns where now photographers in our 60s and 70s, what the town looks like and how it influenced us as far as the buildings and the light. I mean, the sun still comes up in down the same road and casts the same shadows as it did back in the 50s and 60s, right, when we grew up. And the buildings are still the same, right, kind of, sort of, right? But I didn't want to do like the stores that I frequented, because they obviously are not going to look the same, right? Like the candy store that I went to as a little kid, it doesn't look like a candy store anymore. Right now it's a florist, so it's all modern glass and chrome, and so what's the point, right? So what I did was I looked for buildings in my town that really didn't change at all, or if they did change, maybe they got better, who knows. But anyway, so that's what I did. I put together, I think it was 20 or so photographs with the Olympus EPL 6, right? And this articulating screen, by the way, I have to tell you something. This screen, see how you look down this way, right? This came in very, very handy. When I put the camera almost touching the ground, I wouldn't let it touch the ground. It's my camera, right? Now you would say, Carmine, why wouldn't you just use the electronic viewfinder looking down? Well, that would have meant that I would have had gotten on my knees on the ground to put my eye here, right? Because the camera's almost on the ground. No, that's what we use this for. That's what the articulating screen on the EPL 6 That's what it's for. You just hold it down, it gives you this giant screen to compose your pictures, right? So, let's take a look right now at the 20 or so photographs I took about my hometown and put my artistic flair to it, because it's my style, right? Comment below, subscribe, give me a thumbs up, and email me about any topic in photography. blackandwhitephoto@aol.com, and let's take a look at the photographs right now.